Hello everyone. Once again, I am here on the tier list for version 1.11 of the Digimon Rumble Arena Remake fan game. I'm gonna make a retake on this, going a little faster, so it doesn't take 3 hours again, and also because apparently the last video I made didn't register the audio completely. So we're gonna go through this as quickly as possible. The placement has already been done. I'm just gonna explain some of the placings, focusing mostly on the new characters. This tier list wasn't made by just me. This was actually a group effort between me and other players like Shen, Reicher, Wallace, Nyx Knight, Sebas, and Explodion. Um, so And I also have to thank Mizamotzu for making the tier list in the first place. Okay, so there's a lot to cover. There's quite a lot of characters just from the megas. So real quick, Applying Numemon is still the same, so he's still in F tier. Jet Sylphimon is a character that wants to do a lot of stuff but doesn't do it correctly, so she's in E tier. D tier are characters that have something but are mostly just annoying to fight, so they're not too crazy. Saberlium at least has some burst damage, King Chessman is just annoying. C tier are characters that need something else to shine. Uh, B tier are characters that are overall solid, but could use a buff or two. Like Boltamon, for example, is a new character. It was introduced in 1.9, I believe. Yeah, 1.9. Who focuses mostly on just countering other melee fighters. But if you go directly onto the enemy, if you just rush with him, you're not gonna have a good time. So you have to be really patient with him. And he also doesn't do that much damage, so you really need to take your time with him. At least he does inflict glitch, so there is that, and heals when in Ultra. Uh, these guys are all kind of whatever, unfortunately. Kaiser Greymon definitely needs some help. He's unfortunately outclassed by the other frontier characters, especially Aldemon. Uh, Glaciamon is good. This guy good. War Greymon needs a little bit of help because War Greymon X literally does the same thing but way better. But at least he does a very good melee game, so he's not that low. Holy Drama is very dependent on the Ultra mode, on Apocalypse, the down special. Besides that, our whole kit is kind of just okay, nothing crazy. Like Benmon, Banchaleomon melts everyththing with high damage, especially armor guys, but he's also made of paper, so you need to be careful. That's why he's not that high. These guys are good. Jesmon is still good. Rapidmon is still good. He's still good. Ophanimon full down mode is another new character. Uh, she fights by literally throwing her scythe at the enemy and placing a trap that siphons away the HP of her opponent. She herself is okay-ish, but the main reason why she's here is because she turns into Ordinamon. Ordinamon is an extremely powerful stage evolution, which does a lot of damage and covers a lot of space. You're gonna have a lot of trouble fighting her because you actually have to fight Ordinamon to unlock her, and as well as Ragelmon with Ayapa. And it's a really hard fight, so you need to be careful. Pinky, Lord Nightmare is still good. Raven is still good. This guy has some recovery issues, but he's still good. X. Magnamon got moved high up by quite a bit because he got a defense increase in later updates and is now very solid. Next thing we have Skull Mammothmon. Skull Mammothmon is somewhat of a tanky rushdown character that can also melt armory guys like Banshaleomon, but can also inflict glitch and is generally really hard to stop. But he's locked to the ground, so you need to be somewhat careful with him. Snakemon still the same, Beowulfmon still the same. Cherubimon Virtue got buffed Now he can bombard you much more easily with projectiles. He can summon lightning that, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, can prevent you from moving. He can summon a thundercloud on you that does a lot of damage with neutral special. Very solid all around. He's a toner. He's a pretty good character. Rosamund Savers is still the same. Grandis Kuagamon got moved down to the bottom A tier because he finally got nerfed. Uh, Now he's not that safe anymore. You actually need to be careful. But if you do land his attacks, he starts doing a lot of damage. Similar to before, basically, but it just doesn't have armor and everything. He now has glitch only on one move. It has poison on the others. It got changed quite substantially. Piedmon is still the same as before. Then we have Gankumon. Gankumon is another new character. He's a stance character. He's a stance character. He basically switches between fighting by himself or with his partner Hinokamui, and in both cases he's a melee focused character. When by himself, he's somewhat fast with the decent defense. He has B all across the stats. When Hinokamui is out, he becomes really slow but gets S defense. And also at the cost that Hinokamui himself also has her box, so he becomes really easy to target. In Ultra mode, they fight together, so all these moves get enhanced. He has a decent projectile where he throws rocks at the opponent. Yeah, the table flip, and an Evo move, which is basically a grounded version of Seraphimon's Evo move, so it does a lot of damage and is unblockable. And that's pretty much it. He's a combo character, so he doesn't do that well against armor guys. Then we have Rhino Kabuterimon, very underestimated. He's basically similar to the Hercules Kabuterimons, both of them, but even better because he covers a lot of ground and he has wall combos that do a lot of damage and will outright kill you. He's really, really dangerous. Then we have Devi Tamamon. He's another new character. He got introduced in version 1.11, so this version. He fights by applying status effects, even in base. He can inflict, with a neutral special, poison. He can inflict glitch, and a new status effect called corrosion, which inverts healing effects. So if you try to heal with an item or an ability like Revive Mons, you're gonna take damage instead. But it's not that easy to apply it because you have to stand still inside a fog that he creates with a neutral special. In Ultra mode, he also can inflict other statuses such as freeze, even though they're RNG. He can stop you with a bear-like effect similar to Machine Dramon, and he has a move, the forward special, does more damage when the opponent has status effects. The more statuses they have, the more damage Devitama will do with that move. Kind of a tricky character, but once you understand him, he is really solid. Magnamon X got the same treatment as normal Magnamon, no changes in move whatsoever, he just got a defense upgrade, but because of this, now he basically takes forever to die, and so he will basically just outlast you and do a lot of damage. Overall, very simple character. Justimon X is same as before. Black Saint Galgamon, we found out that he's pretty much a literal fortress. It's really hard to harm him, and he does a lot of damage. But it does require a lot of practice because he doesn't really like to move. He doesn't move at all. So, yeah, you need to practice a lot with this guy. The normal Seven Galgamon is still a lot better. Rosamond Adventures right next. She's this high because of her Ivy Hug, the neutral special, which she can spam and can pretty much destroy anyone that likes to stay on the ground. But even if they do get on the air, she can just time it really well and trap you, and then do melee chains and stuff. And then she can also turn into Rafflesimon, which is just a menace all around. You pretty much about Rosamund Adventure already. Aldamon, you know the drill by now. He's a combo machine that is good at both range and melee. In Ultra mode, he's extremely scary. He can counter projectiles. He inflicts burn. Extremely powerful against stage evos. but he does melt against barrier users or some really good armor guys, and also requires quite a lot of practice. Very dangerous, especially in survival mode when you fight him, so be on your toes. Bunch of Stingmon, pretty much the same thing, except he also inflicts glitch and can heal himself, and he has tracking projectiles. Then we have Blitz Greymon. Blitz Greymon is basically is another new character. He's from version 1.9. He's basically Aldemon, but very defensive and also really slow. Because he's slow, he does require quite a lot of practice, but he shines in basically intercepting the opponent with his electrical barrier, which will also stun the enemy in the in Ultra mode, and countering with forward special. He's but it does require it requires patience because both movement and attacking is really slow. He does have some free flight, so there is that. Snatchmon, by now you know the drill. Snatchmon is pretty weak, but he does evolve into Galactimon, which is a threat, a force to be reckoned with. Just because of that, he is this high up. Lilithmon, you know about her. Phoenixmon, she got knocked down in this tier. She was way higher before, and that's because she was nerfed on the Starlight Explosion. It got a significant cooldown increase, so now she doesn't spam that thing anymore. The rest is the same as before. Managaruramon, you know the drill. He is a range a zoner that also becomes a good melee fighter at the expense of some meter. Really powerful burst character. Somewhat hard to use, but really good once you master him. Then we have Grankuagamon. Grankuagamon is another new character. He got introduced in this update. He is very good at fighting barrier users because he rushes down. He has a physical attack. He has a projectile that explodes, so it's more like a bomb than an actual projectile. And he's very easy to use. You also unlock him very early. You only need to clear path 1 with Hercules Kabuterimon, so you get him very early, and he's very, very strong. Black Seraphimon, you know the drill. Mercurymon or Merukimon, you want to call him, still really strong. Can still be shut down a bit because of his low defense, but he does a lot of damage. And unfortunately, he does have a move that doesn't really work, but it has been addressed a lot, so maybe it will get fixed soon. Don Devimon, still a major threat. He works the same as before. Megidramon, he got buffed. He's now in A tier. Before he was at the bottom. Now he covers more distance. He's faster. Both for forward and up special covers more distance. I mean, and because he's more reliable in catching the opponent, landing the down special, which has a lot of damage, and especially the explosion in Ultra, becomes so much easier. He's really good at fighting pretty much almost everyone, although you still need to be careful because he can die pretty quickly. Raihimon is the same as before. He can do whatever he wants because he can just fly and pretty much just ease you with a down special. Belphemon, same as before. By now you know how he works. Blackboard Greymon, really strong character. Trap Setter, pretty good rushdown, pretty basic. You do need to think a little bit because he's frail, but he's really good. Griffomon, a real pain to fight. He flies all the time. He got buffed not too long ago. He flies all the time. He's really fast. He plays Glitch with 2 moves. He plays Guard Disable with another. And you're never gonna catch him essentially if you don't have a character that can also stay in the air easily. So yeah, he's a pain. Melcetum is the same as before. Black Imperiodramon, he got some animation changes, but overall he still plays the same as before. Very technical fighter, very strong. Lately, now also considered tournament viable, so you can use him in tournaments if you organize him. So not that strong of a boss character. Saint Galgamon, same as before, is basically a better version of the Black Saint Galgamon. He can move around, does a lot of damage, has a spammable, very safe. Venom Ionismon, another pain to fight because he just doesn't take damage, continuously heals, and slaps you around for a ton of damage. Chimeramon, this is another new character that got introduced in this update. Chimeramon is a character that on paper doesn't do a lot of damage, but he can actually rack it up really fast with his moves because he's really good at intercepting his opponent to having armor and forward special. He can also inflict other status effects, and he has a new mechanic where when he shoots with neutral special, he puts a target on the opponent, and then his other moves get an additional effect once he hits them if they have the target. Uh, okay, next up we have Opanimon. She's the same as before, still an annoying zoner. Sakuyamon, same as before, another annoying stage control character that uses the barrier and such. Really strong. Jumbo Gamemon, a tank that is fast, they can punch through barriers. Shine Greymon, same as before, very strong burst character, very easy to use. Sakuyamon Miko Mode. This is another character that was at the bottom before. She got buffed in this update. Now she's a trap master that does a lot of damage, but also is very, very technical. She's definitely one of the hardest characters to use. But once you do master her, she becomes really strong. She can compete with the top tiers very easily. She can place barriers all around, even if she's in the air. She can yank you towards her with her foxes, and she now places talismans, which are different colors, and with each colors they have different effects. She has a green talisman that now heals her, a red talisman that sort of explodes, a purple talisman that debuffs all stats, and a blue talisman that will steal meter from the opponent. These will cycle, so they're not random, and will have the same effect both in base and in ultra. In ultra mode, she can also swap places with the opponent with her evo button, so you can place a trap, any trap you want, and then you can forcefully drop the opponent onto them. So yeah, pretty neat character, very fun, very solid. Revivemon, same as before, he still heals a lot, he still inflicts damage, status does a lot of damage, very straightforward. Cherubimon Vice is a boss character that counters armor guys, but also just doesn't let you play, basically, because of the thundercloud he has. Yanks you in, very good at pushing you to the wall because he has armor. Very, very good character. Ojamon, he got nerfed in this update a little bit because it was literally unfair before. Now you can actually fight back, but he's still a heavy rush down character that melts health bars. So you still need to be careful. His up special also got changed in ultra mode to make it a little safer. So instead of following the opponent, he just goes in the air and roars and does this big explosion around him. But besides that, he's pretty much the same. He just got nerfed a little bit to make it a little safer. Marsmon is the same as before, still a juggernaut with armor, but also very, very strong melee moves, and the longest ever move in the game. He'll kill you if you let him do his thing. Crescarurumon. Crescarurumon got added alongside Blitzgreymon and Boltamon earlier. He's a rushdown character that is very easy to pick up, very safe to use, can inflict freeze with down special, and can pretty much do a long streak of combos. Very, very, very good character. Valkyriemon is another character that was bottom tier before. Now he got buffed. He got buffed in the last update. He is a rushdown slash stage control type of character that is much faster than before. Can still inflict freeze in ultra. He now leaves gusts of wind with up special that nullify projectiles. The bear he had before is now a projectile that basically a javelin that once you throw it, it explodes into a barrier. Because of that, you can't exactly nullify with the berry users, depending on who is fighting. Does require a little bit of practice, but once you master him, he's a monster. Really, 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 really good character. Then we have Entermon. Entermon is a character that requires some setup because he has his whole thing is pretty much setting up his stereos and the stage in his favor. His main move is the neutral, which is a 3-step move that first does a little bit of damage, then stuns the enemy, then does a really big chunk of damage. He has a physical semi-laser, uh, and the Ultra mode pretty much capitalizes on this because now he has stairs that fires passively for him, and he only does the third stage of the neutral. Uh, he pretty much is a zoner that loves to have the stage under control. It's pretty hard to explain to words, so you'll have to try it for yourself. Really good character. Dynasmon got buffed as well not too long ago. Now he's a little faster, is safer to use, and does a lot of damage. Even in base, but especially in Ultra. In Ultra, he'll just straight up pulverize you. Uh, Not really much to say. Still pretty much the same as before. He just got a little tweaks, and now he's a literal powerhouse. We move on to S tier. These are the characters that are actually broken. The Arbitmon, pretty much the same as before. He just got nerfed a little bit on the counter and down special. Where now in base he only counters melee attacks, I believe. So yeah, it's not as reliable as before, but and yeah, the combo also got a little shorter in base. So it's still pretty much the same character, just got tweaked a little bit. Gaspar Greyma is still the same as before. Watch out for the missiles. Seraphima is the same as before. Then we have Bolt Baltmon. This is another new character. Bolt Baltmon is another setup character that plays a little differently from the rest because of how the side special works. The side special basically will make him move into one direction, then shoot in the opposite direction. So if you move to the left with it, you'll shoot to the right. If you move to the right, you'll shoot to the left. That kind of stuff. So basically, his plan is to stay away from the opponent and shoot them, and gather the swords that are right above him. He has a sword counter that goes up to 20. The swords go up as time passes or while using certain moves. They cap at 10, at 20, as I said, and then you can fire them with down special. These are semi-tracking projectile that does a lot of damage, and so it's really worth it. He's yeah, you can say he's somewhat of a zoner. He's a really good character. Next up, we have Oriomon. Oriomon is another character that was at the bottom of the tier list not too long ago. Now he got buffed. He is a really solid armor guy that tends to shut down a lot of other characters, especially when there's ledges, like for example in Gunslinger or even in Sky Sanctuary. It's really hard to harm him, really hard to fight him in melee. His only downside is that he's pretty much a very straight line character, very straight. Yeah, he basically just fires in front of him. But if you let him do his thing, he can guard disable you and then punish you with a neutral, which does insane amount of damage. Definitely a top tier character. Wargreymon X is the same as before. Beelzemon is the same as before, still a spammer that does a lot of damage. Got slightly nerfed on the Evo move because before he could use it immediately, now he can only use it when there's 50% meter left. So he's a bit less unfair. And there is that. Dyukumon is the same as before, still very easy to pick up. Diaboromon is a really strong character. It's still a boss character. The reason why he's not at the very top with the other bosses is just because Armageddon, as strong in terms of damage he is, he's still pretty much a nerf to him because he basically is free to damage and such. But still a very solid option, especially if you like to chain combos, stealing mirror and such. Digimon Crimson mode, very solid character, very simple for a boss character. It just needs a little tweak to get more in line with the other bosses, and he's good to go. For the rest, he's still pretty solid. Omega Shaman, really strong character, has tools for everything. The Evo move is more or less an entry key for different tools rather than an actual upgrade because in base he's basically a rushdown as a Shaman DX is a zoner. So you do need to practice with him because you're basically using two characters at once. It's kind of like Managurumon in a way, just a bit more practical because it doesn't consume meter or anything. Racialmon ended up being far more powerful than I had imagined because she counters a lot of stuff. And roulette she has on down special is actually more skewed in her favor than not, because all the effects are basically positive, and she gets the best ones, which are the heal and the fireballs very frequently, especially in ultra mode. In ultra mode, he can even stack the effects because he gets to roll the roulette 3 times in a row, and these effects can stack. So yes, she becomes really powerful. Metaguruma X is the same as before. He still bombards you. Then we have Bloom Lormon. Bloom Lormon is another new character that get added. I think last update. Yeah, last update is very new. Uh, he is he is a character that is basically somewhat of a rushdown. He tends to pretty much fly towards across the screen with forward and up special, which is what makes him annoying in the first place. But this playstyle revolves around using these normal attacks, or also just waiting to charge up his laser, which you can use with down special. The laser is really powerful, although you can still guard it. Uh, because you can just guard everything he does, and if you do guard at the appropriate time, you can still catch him off guard. He's down here, but because of what I just described, if you do not guard, he'll just eliminate you in a second. So he's really strong, for sure. He can also stun you in Ultra with the neutral special, and he can even heal himself with the Evo move. Chaos Yukimon, very obnoxious character, very strong. So strong, in fact, that he's considered not tournament viable. Basically, a boss character. He can confuse you. He can guard. He can go through your guard. He can freeze you. He has very solid combos. He has armor. He has everything you need. Very strong character. Then we have Ulfor Speedramon. You know the drill with this guy. I use him a lot. Uh, Basically the dream of every rushdown. Very solid character, very safe from projectiles, somewhat easy to use. You do need to be careful from opponent guards. Baldurman got nerfed a little bit on the neutral special, but she's still a menace because the down special still does a lot of damage. Besides that, she's still a menace. Digimon X is the same as before. Rastiranamon is the same as before, still a menace because of the traps he sets, especially in small stages. Globemon is still a monster. You pretty much will never catch him and he will bombard you continuously. It does require some practice because it's a setup character, but does a lot of damage. Very good character. Canondramon is basically a better Rastiranamon because he has lasers, he has better traps, he can nullify projectiles. Can look hard to use at first, but he's actually really easy. Mirage Galgamon is still a monster, both in base and especially in ultra mode because of that teleport and the damage he does on up special. Machinedramon is the same as before, still a monster. Omegamon X is the same as before. We all know all delete. People forget about his Omega Inforce, but All Elite is basically the main reason why he's here because he chooses survival. Mano Garurumon honestly should not be here, but he's here because he can chain freeze you to death, and because he's really fast and really easy to use. He will probably get touched in the future, I believe. He's so strong, very strong. Ragelmon is another new character. She got introduced alongside the Ophanimon Fall Down mode. She can also go into Ordinemon, like Ophanimon Fall Down mode. The reason why she's here is because she can hold her own even in base form, to the point that she's considered a boss character. She's a top tier rushdown character that has tools even for range fighting. She has a barrier, and her forward special that can also leave a trap behind her is also capable of doing infinite combos if she pushes you to the wall. She is made a favor though. She has a C defense, so you still need to be a little careful with her. Just a little bit. She's extremely powerful. Sirismon is high up because he has very long combo streaks. You can combo the down special with his forward and up special continuously. And he also still has access to Breakwazer, which is really powerful, and Planet Knuckle, which pretty much will kill you if you try to melee him in Ultra mode. Very, very powerful character. Not that easy to use, but very strong. Blackboard Greymon X, very obnoxious zoner that shuts down many other fighters. His only issue is that he has the lowest defense of all the megas, but you'll basically never touch him unless using Duke 1S or something like that. He's way too powerful, way too strong. Gigasidramon. Gigasidramon is not as obnoxious, but definitely as powerful as Blackboard Greymon X, if not even more, because he's very tanky and has tracking stuff. He has a physical laser that is frame 1, so very hard to react to. That has a lot of range. He's somewhat faster for having E speed because of the forward special, and very good projectiles all around. Very solid character, very easy to use. You know how he is by now. Diaboraman X, very strong boss character. It's pretty much an upgraded version of Diaboramon that can also heal himself in Ultra. Like if you know how Diaboramon works, you know how Diaboramon X works. So he's a little menace. Dorugoramon, same old, punches through barriers, deadly melee combos, a fire breath that deletes projectiles and deletes health bars. Very easy to use, very safe. And yeah, he's basically, from not being a boss character, he sure punches just as hard as one. Omegamon Alter S. So this is another new character. Uh, he's basically similar to normal Omegamon, but trades maneuverability and for better combos. So his single attacks don't do that much damage, but he's better at doing combos than normal Omegamon. You do need to practice because he has a lot of charging moves. So yeah, he's not super easy to use. You need to practice with him a little bit, but he's still really good. Abadamon Core, another new character they're gonna introduce alongside the Alter S. Very solid, good melee, decent barrier, but his neutral is basically his bread and butter. Triple laser does a lot of damage, and an ultra mode that summons a Badamon and gives him extra tools, like for example the trap he has on neutral, that will stun the opponent and accumulate damage if used together with if the neutral also lands. And you can also switch modes and starts inflicting poison and glitch. If it's poison with the special moves and glitch with the normal attacks. So it can be really nasty. Normal Megamon, you know the drill with him. Very straightforward. It's a down special, does a lot of damage, and as yeah, it becomes merciful mode, which has a very strong down special. It can inflict freeze, it can inflict burn, and overall it's just very straightforward. Reapermon, up special the character, just spam up special once he goes ultra and you win, literally. Like that's literally his character. Besides that, he also has high priority on everything. So he's really hard to fight. Apocalypse. Apocalypse is another new character. He came in with a Badamon, Alter S, and such. He's peculiar in the sense that for being a boss character, he's kind of easy to hit because he has a very big hurt box. But he has multiple ways to get rid of you. He has very large hitboxes, mainly with up special. The forward special is a grab that not only does damage but also reduces your mirror to 0. So he counters even stage evolutions with this. Well, at least those are not permanent. uh, and the down special is particular because it hits the entire screen, so you cannot avoid it. You can still guard it, fortunately. So yeah, there's that. He also has his Evo move, the Grand Death Big Bang from the anime, where he summons basically the crests of the adventure kids, and the opponent has to gather all eight of them. If they manage to do so, they are safe. So and then Apocalypse will basically just suicide. If not, Apocalypse will just insta kill you. You have a time limit for doing this. He's a very gimmicky character for a boss character, but is definitely deserving of the spot. Then we have Malo, Myotismon. Very, very strong character, does a lot of damage. Is a strong zoner that is very safe to use, can inflict poison, can inflict guard disable, and can also inflict a unique status effect which is called Panic, which will scramble your buttons, and you cannot avoid this because it has the range of the entire screen. Scramble your buttons can be devastating, so yeah, you definitely need to be prepared when fighting Malomyotismon for sure. Then we have Lucemon. Lucemon is a threat because of what he does in base and also because of his evolution. In base, he is invincible in melee when he does the Paradise Lost. And then there's Dead or Alive, which is a move that will not only reduce your immunity to 0, but also insta-kill you if he manages to pull it off correctly 4 times. If he gets into trouble, or whenever he wants, he can also evolve into Lucille Satan mode, which is invulnerable to damage until you manage to get Larva mode out of him. So in the hands of a player, he can cheese most fights. So he's definitely a really good character. Next, we have Near Crimson. This is a hot take, most likely because a lot of players think Near Crimson is the best character in the game, but there are actually a few problems with him. So, first of all, the strength. Uh, as most people know by now, because you have to fight him early on, he's invincible most of the time because of the forward and the down special, and he's also really really tanky because he has S defense. And the first time you fight him, he has triple HP than normal, so he basically never dies. While he starts tearing you apart because he has S attack. However, and yeah, it also reduces your meter to 0 if he goes ultra. However, there are ways to go to counter him. Like for example, just saving the ultra meter for when he goes ultra as well will let you go ultra. And characters that can not letting go ultra, like Velgramon, for example, or even Diaboromon can kind of handle him. Freeze characters, charm characters. There's a way to go about it. He doesn't have that many windows, and just guarding can also put you in a good spot. You need to learn how to guard when fighting this character. None of his attacks are unblockable, fortunately. You do need to be careful when fighting him for sure. But the five characters that are above him are definitely way more scary than he is. Case in point, we are Imperial Dragon Paladin mode. Has a somewhat similar issue in the sense that he can become invincible at will, but his invincibility is much more reliable because when he goes Ultra, he is invincible no matter what for the entire Ultra duration. Although to compensate, he has the shortest Ultra mode of all the entire cast. However, he can also inflict Guard Disable and just erase your meter, erase your HP bar in a second. Um, to the point that he also got nerfed a little bit because he apparently had infinite range on the up special before. Now that got fixed, thankfully. Uh, he's a literal nightmare to fight. You need to be really careful when fighting Paladin mode. Susanomon is the same as before, very strong in melee, very tanky, counters projectiles of any kind, as a spammable barrier with up special that becomes tracking in Ultra, as another tracking projectile in Ultra, and as the big sword slash in Ultra that does a lot of damage. Very straightforward. May requires a little bit of practice because of the base form, but overall he's extremely powerful. very strong, very tanky, very damaging. Probably not exactly a cheater because he fights very in a very straightforward matter pattern. It's just he deletes stuff coming his way. Similarly, we have Dexter Goramon in double S tier. Double S tier are characters that are literally broken and never meant to be used seriously. Uh, Dexter Goramon is basically Susanomon but 3 times better in base form at least because he has a spammable projectile. He has very good melee combos. He has a down special that breaks projectiles, yanks you in, and does a lot of damage. And most importantly, he has an Evo move which confines you in a small space. And no matter what the Dexmon does, you will take damage. Not to mention some of these attacks are unblockable as well. So, and he can also become invulnerable to damage for a little bit. So you definitely need to be prepared when fighting him, especially in arcade mode. If you find him in arcade mode, he's gonna wreck you for sure. Next up, we have Millenniumon. Millenniumon is the newest character added to the game. He got added in this update. He's the closest thing we have to a final boss, essentially, because it takes so long to unlock him. Millenniumon is number 2 because of his weaknesses, basically. So anyone that is good at dealing with armor guys is gonna punch through Millenniumon. However, even for them, it's not that easy because of how Millenniumon works. First of all, he has a lot of range when even with his normal attacks, but most of all with his special because he's basically a zoner that does a lot of damage. He has cannon blasts. He has tracking missiles. He has a laser. He has a barrier that nullifies projectiles and then explodes. And then he has that forward special, which is a semi-tracking projectile that is unblockable and will slow you down to the minimum level. And then gives an extra hit to the down special if it connects, even if you guard it. If he da- if he somehow dies in battle, he will turn into Moon Millenniumon, who does not attack but has double S defense and flies across the screen, so it has free flight. And after 10 seconds, it will revive Millenniumon with half HP. And when he evolves in Ultramon, he becomes Zed Millenniumon, who literally controls the stage in his favor, can stop time, and as a move, which is the neutral special, which will do static damage. No matter how much HP you have, you will always lose around 10 to 15%, 10% HP or more or less. Maybe a little more, I'm not really sure, I haven't counted, but it's really, really strong. So he's a monster in arcade mode for sure. But just because characters like, for example, Rusty Randomon, Canon Dramon, or Crimson Mode, that do a lot of damage to static and armored characters, can actually deal a lot of damage to him. That's the only reason why he's not number 1. That's pretty much it. And then we have, of course, Alphamon. Alphamon is a monster. He counters pretty much almost everyone. He counters he counters literally every character in the game. He goes through barriers. He does a lot of damage to armor. He steals mirror and base with down special. And in Ultra mode, he becomes extremely spammy with neutral special. He has a lot of range tools, and he has Alpha Enforce. You know what Alpha Enforce does, you know? Nullifies actions, which so basically a time stop. Will heal any damage he has taken in that moment at the cost of some meter. Because it's so reliable and because of how spammy he is and how reliable his moves are, he's undeniably still the number 1 character, at least in our opinion. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole tier list covered in less than an hour. So hope this helped, and I'll see you guys soon. See ya.